How do you decide what's important? How do you decide what to focus on? How do you decide inside of your world on a daily basis what is ultimately required to move your life forward versus just a bunch of activity that doesn't fucking matter? Right? This is one of the issues that we're going to be solving at WarriorCon 4. It's one of the topics and conversations we deal with every single day here at Warrior, which is a really simple conversation, which is how do I get a man into a place of power? And then once he's in a place of power, how do I get that man to be able to effectively make decisions on a daily basis that move his business, his body, his relationship with God, being, his relationship in balance, his marriage, and his kids? How do I get him to move all of those things forward at the exact same time? This is a far more difficult conversation than most people think. Like, you can spend a shitload of time being busy. Period. Most people do. Spend a shitload of time being busy. Spend a shitload of time trying to make things happen. The difference between the people where I live in my neighborhood, cheapest house in our whole neighborhood, $9 million. Most expensive home in our house in our neighborhood is around $50 million. Right? The difference between the people who live in this neighborhood and people who've lived in the neighborhoods in the past, well, not only am I a different human being, but guess what else is different? What else is different is the following. Our ability to make decisions now as people is radically different than what it was before. At 46, my capacity to make decisions today is radically different than what my capacity was to make decisions just 5 years ago. Right? See, this decision-making game that you and I face, this is a serious thing that affects all of us. Every single day. How do you know what to do? So I want you to consider that your world itself is driven in an interesting way by a few things. And one of the things it's driven by is your ability to access clarity. See, what precedes decision-making is clarity. And one of the big challenges you have is the fact that you don't get clear. You don't spend enough time getting clear. You work your ass off in trying to do a bunch of shit, but you don't spend any time trying to get clear about what shit you should actually be working on. How do you determine between four options today? It's 8 o'clock. You got 4 hours toward 12 noon. How do you determine in that time frame what's the most important and mission critical stuff for you to focus on and what is stuff that you can ignore? What is your decision-making process? How do you get clear? How do you create clarity? I told people this, and I tell these people this all the time. It is far more difficult to be a man with a lot of options than it is a man with very few options. No different than back in the day, Robert Kiyosaki told me something very interesting. Is when we go back 20 some years when I first heard him speak. I'm sitting in the front row at his workshop and event. He said, there are two kinds of problems with money. Problem number one with money is not having enough. Problem number two with money is having a lot. That most people are just not good enough to have problem number two. So they'll spend their whole lives in problem number one, experiencing the result of not enough money. But actually having more money is more complicated than not having money. The people in my neighborhood, my home's $20 million. It's beautiful. This backyard, here it is. I don't say that to brag to you. I'm a guy who grew up in a fucking trailer in Stockton, California. I didn't have any money. I had a lot of problems then. You know what? I'll tell you right now though, having money, I have a lot more problems today than I ever had before. Bigger problems, bigger tax problems, bigger business problems. Back in the day, I just had to worry about keeping myself. Could I get up and go to my job? That was a question. Could I even go to work? Could I even go and do what's required at my job as a PE teacher and a football coach? Then that changed. What became the next conversation? Well, as my decision-making ability went up, my capacity to get clear went up, my ability to make decisions also went up. And as my ability to make decisions went up, my ability to get paid went up. See, I want you to consider that your ability to be compensated is directly related to the following conversation, and that is your capacity to do the following, which is make decisions. Your decisions matter. Here at Warrior, we found a system. We found a science that we use every single day for predictable power. It's not luck. It's not luck at all. It's an actual very powerful protocol for being able to find power every single day. That power itself leads to more powerful decisions inside a business, leads to making more money. It leads to dealing with less chaos with your teams and employees. It leads to having marriages that work and that are on fire. It leads to having a life that ultimately works. But see, you've got to be committed to get in that kind of clarity. I can't force you to be clear. Nobody can. Nobody at work can force you to be clear. Can't force you to be clear. This beautiful horizon out here. Look at this pool. This is my pool, a little diving board for my baby girls. 15-foot pool. It's amazing. Guess what? A lot of decisions had to be made to get to a place where I'd have a swimming pool like that. It's not luck. It's decisions. It's funny. Most days I make more decisions, more painfully difficult decisions in the chaos of abundance before 8 o'clock in the morning than I used to be able to make in an entire month. In one day, just before 8 o'clock, I'll make more decisions about who to hire and fire, where to push traffic, how to spend money, who to move money to, what alliances, what partnerships, what things to focus on. And every day I have to make those decisions over and over and over and over and over again. So do you. So do you. The Warrior's Way system is a specific science that was built to teach men how to make better decisions. Every single day. How do I make better decisions? Your life is a function of all your decisions. I started in the exact same place as a lot of my friends back in the day 22 years ago. We started in the same place. We were all broke. We all had jobs. We were all working for, some of us schools, teaching districts. For some of us working for the government. Some of us working for different corporations. None of us making more than about $40,000, $50,000 a year. We all started in the same place. Most of my friends, guess what? Still sitting in that same job. $45,000 to $50,000 a year. And here I am, making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and multi-millions of dollars, not a billionaire. But I'm making decisions that led me to what? Garage full of supercars. Led me to a house, $20 million home on the beach. Exactly where I saw myself here 9 years ago. I committed I was going to do it and asked myself a simple question: who do I have to become? And in that, one of the number one skills I had to maintain and learn how to navigate with was what? The ability to make decisions. Hard ones, fast ones. Make decisions that most people won't make. Take risks that most people won't take. Do things that most people won't do. So I can have a life that most people will never have. Period. Give you an example. These trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's, I don't know, like 14 trees right there. Let me show you some other trees. We have some more trees going in. Right here. Dirt. Digging it up. Why? Because they're putting more trees right here. These trees are going to go around over to here. And all those trees are sitting right down there. And they're going to use big-ass cranes to move those trees into position to block my whole backyard from the walkway up top. So we have a little privacy. You know how much those trees cost? That's $75,000 in trees right there. You don't just wake up one day with capacity to buy $75,000 in trees just because your wife wants it. You get there by making decision after decision after decision after decision after decision over decades. And the compounding of making critical decisions over and over and over and over again. They don't all have to be right. They don't all have to be perfect. And you don't have to nail every single one. But one of the decisions you've got to make is a commitment to increasing your capacity on a daily basis with a systematic and a practical and a proven methodology for accessing clarity and power and decision-making ability on every single day basis. If you don't have this, what are you left with? Well, you're left with hoping. You're left with luck. You're left with looking into a world that you hope could be, but hope is not a strategy. Never has been, never will be. Can't hope your way to wealth. Can't hope your way to a better marriage. Can't hope your way to a better body. Can't sit around and vision board your six-pack. It's not going to happen. At some point, you're going to have to get up. You're going to have to hurt. You're going to have to sweat. You're going to have to do some shit. You're going to have to decide amidst all the fitness programs out there, what do you commit to? You're going to have to decide out all the nutrition programs, what decision do you make and what do you keep? You're going to wake up every single day and make a decision what marketing moves you're going to make, what hiring moves, what firing moves. You're going to make a decision about how to deal with taxes, how to deal with your own psychology, how to deal with teenage kids, how to deal with your wife, your sex life, communication, intimacy, how to manage and lead a family. You're going to have to make so many fucking decisions this year to be successful. Now the question for you is, what are you doing to put yourself in a place to win? Join me at WarriorCon 4. This is what I'm showing men. I've been showing Memphis for 10 years. I've been beating this drum with Warrior for a decade. Trying to help men see how I pulled my life out of a deep, dark pit and how you can do the same. So click on the link here on this page in my bio associated with this video. Learn more about WarriorCon 4. Get yourself into the game. Because one of the key things that's going to happen October 26th to 29th is a whole group of men who have the ability to do what? Make powerful, critical decisions. And I want you to be